Thanks for staying late, guys. Just real quick, I thought that was a really cool setting. I honestly didn't know what to expect. Really didn't. So, real quick, thank the event staff. I thought, at least from where I was standing, it looked like a really cool deal. Looked like people were super into it. Our event staff, our facility staff, like, how cool was that field? I thought they did a really good job marketing. Said they had to lock the gates, which is, I think, a good thing. Our administration, I know MK and is sitting back there. Looks like his daughter's back there hanging out. And Chris, and then BJ Daniels, man, like what a job he did. We came out, those guys, man, were sweating still. There was a couple I wish I could have taken, but it's 70 alums, former players that were there, part of that halftime. Some guys' hammies were tighter than they wanted them to be, so they didn't play. But thanks to all those people that put that on it. For our kids to see that, I think really, really cool in a lot of ways. And then whoever did the fireworks, those guys did a good job. I don't know who did that, but that was pretty cool. So it was really fun. Thought it was a cool night. In a lot of ways, it was our third scrimmage and our 15th practice, but that was super cool for our kids to see what people excited about football in Tampa looks like. So that was cool.
Welcome to South Florida.
What's that?
Welcome to South Florida.
Right? Isn't that right? It's cool. It was neat. I liked it. It's fun.
What does it, you mentioned they had a lock of games. What does it mean for you moving forward, the momentum this program has after coming off a one-win season? What do you attribute that to?
I don't know. I think in a lot of ways there's just a sense of new, fresh, exciting. I've spent 4 months and 11 days just plugging and plugging and plugging. And when people say that, like, I get even more and more motivated. We're working really, really hard, and we're selling this thing as hard as we can. I think there's real traction in recruiting. There's real traction in fundraising. I think there's real traction on the NIL front. I think there's real traction on the stadium. I think there's real traction on a football complex. I think there's real tangible things going on. Now we got to put a team together to go win, and the portal opens tomorrow, and we got to continue to recruit like crazy, and we got to go put a team together that's going to win as fast as we can. So, but I think the energy is real. I think there's a sense of authentic, real work and energy. So.
Sluggish start, Coach. Is that the nerves on having the crowd there and they haven't played in front of a big crowd like this? What would you attribute the slow start to this game?
I think it's hard to say when you're playing against your own defense. You'd say fast start for the defense. Could you argue that? I don't know. Yeah, maybe a little bit of nerves. I don't know. You got to watch the film. From where I stand, it's hard because I'm just standing in the back and working through situations. But we didn't execute offensively early. We got a bunch of guys out. That's not an excuse. Guys got to step up, and we got to keep recruiting to those spots. But I think probably five receivers in our 2.5 deep were out tonight. Some guys out for postseason surgery. Some guys out preventative to make sure nothing crazy happens. This is such a huge summer for us. This is the biggest summer in the history of this football program for us. These guys got to finish off the semester academically, got to finish off the semester in the weight room, and then they'll get a couple weeks. And then when we get back, I told them before the game, I told them right after the game, this is going to be the hardest thing they've ever gone through. Told our coaches the same thing. We're going to work harder than we've ever worked. And I don't know if you can work any harder than we have for 4.5 months here, but we're going to put it together, and we're going to give ourselves a chance to go win. But maybe a little bit sluggish. I think just all of it is new, which is cool. We needed that. We haven't been in Corbett yet. All of it was just kind of new. I don't think they've ever gotten ready for a game in the practice locker room. Just a lot of things are new, but we need to get new in fall camp. We got to get out and scrimmage at some different places so that we can get used to the new. But we got to go execute offensively. Like I said, a bunch of guys out, specifically at receiver. But I also thought the defense did a good job applying pressure on the edges. And the only thing I was disappointed about was some penalties that were like sloppy, some illegal men downfield. You know, you had Kelly Joyner playing in the slot the whole night, so a lot of praise to that kid because we put him in the slot on Tuesday. He's been playing running back all camp and has been phenomenal. And what an unselfish human being. Like, hey, dude, play in the slot so we have a chance offensively to operate 2 practices, and then I thought he played his fanny off. He was on the ball twice when he shouldn't have been, so if that's like the worst thing that happens in spring ball, then we'll be all right.
You said you think this is the biggest summer in the history of the football program. Why?
I think in every imaginable way we have to stamp what we're doing here. We've got to validate the decision MK and his staff made to bring our staff here. We've got to validate the investment that's being made in this program. And I don't think you can equate it to necessarily wins and losses, but I think you can equate it in laying a foundation for a sustainable program with a sustainable culture and a sustainable vision. So the way we approach this summer is going to determine where we go as a program. You know, the way we approach the 4 months since we've been here has certainly helped lay a foundation, but I think the summer for our kids to come together, and we're going to bring some more guys in here, and those guys have got to integrate in the football team. We've got to integrate into our program, into our culture. How we come together over the next 4 months is going to, I think, set this program one way or the other for the next, I don't know, eternity is probably too infinite of a term, but for the foreseeable future.
And you mentioned the portal earlier. How active do you expect to be when that thing opens tomorrow?
Very.
Any positions in particular that you are especially targeting, or just best available?
Yeah, there's certainly positions we're targeting. There's positions we've been targeting since we got here. We got to get better everywhere. Yeah, I don't know if best available is the right term. We got to see where we are after exit interviews with our kids, and but certainly, I mean, like probably watch that and guess what positions we're targeting.
Coach, how do you feel the culture has progressed from the start of spring practice leading up to tonight's spring game?
I think culturally, the one thing that I've been really proud of is our kids work really hard. Like, they like to practice. I think where we've shown growth is the way we go about our business, the importance of coming in extra and getting in extra time, the importance of going out there and catching jugs when nobody's looking, the importance of taking pride in this Bulls logo, not just because I want to go to the NFL or because I want to get mine, but because it's about time we bring this program back to where it belongs, which is certainly at the top of this conference, but in a national conversation. And I don't know how long that'll take, but for them to actually own that, you know, it's one thing to talk about it, it's another to actually work like it. And so they've worked extremely hard on the practice field. I think where we've got to continue to grow is just how we approach our daily habits. Like, for them, like how they wake up and how they come in here and how they hydration test and how they take care of their bodies and how they approach their teammates. And I know I've said that before, but you know, 4 months ago, you'd walk down the hallway and you'd be like, man, how you doing? I'm good. Man, how you doing? 10 toes down. Like, man, what a crappy way to live your life. Like every morning you walk in here, you got an opportunity to lift somebody up. You got an opportunity to lift a teammate up. You got an opportunity to make somebody feel better. Like, culturally, and culture is a really overused word in our game and in our profession, but you're either getting better and making others around you better, or you're getting worse. And like, as the head coach, I challenge those guys every day, and I walk around this building and I look guys in the eye and I challenge the other people that walk around this building. Like, how are you feeling today? Man, I'm good. Well, that sucks. Like, how about we get to work at South Florida, we get to coach football here, we get to play football here. Like that's the culture that you have to continue to build. And got to bring everybody else with you. You got to force people to get to the level where we want to go. Like, you got to have a vision before you ever get there, you know. And the old adage of you got to act like a champion before you ever win, you know, before you ever are. We have to constantly demand perfection in everything that we do. Football, how we eat, how we sleep, how we treat our bodies, how we treat other people in the building, how we treat people in the community, how we treat women, all of it. Perfection. There's one right way and there is a wrong way. It's got to be the right way in everything we do. They're still kids. They're 18 to 22 years old, super impressionable, but they are really smart. They are working really hard. It's a really long-winded answer because culture is like such a blasé blah word. Like we are what we are. We're a 1-11 football team that's fighting like crazy to get to where we got to go.
Coach, talk about portal, about positions, talk about the quarterback positions. You have three guys in first line for that position. What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, I like our quarterback room. We got Izzy Carter coming in, who's also going to compete. We got Bulldog is a really, really good veteran guy that balled out tonight too. I really like our quarterback room. That would be one position I don't see us doing anything with in the portal. Like, I'm excited about our quarterback room.
What's your thoughts on the decision? Are you leaning away or another?
I'm not. Gary hasn't had a chance to compete for anything yet, although I will say he's been an incredible leader. Man, he's like such a humble, hardworking, smart, aware individual. He's like, yeah, I say they're kids. Like, he's like actually like a grown up. He spends so much time in here. He's pressed our sports medicine staff to get his rehab as fast as it can be. He's throwing a football now. I mean, he's ahead of schedule by every account. So he's going to come in here and compete. Izzy Carter's going to come in here and compete. You know, we didn't recruit Izzy on the premise of coming in here and watching anybody play. I'm so proud of where Byram is right now. I think that young guy, man, he is light years ahead of what I saw at the end of the season. And I thought he came in and operated really well as a freshman. That's hard to do. That's a hard position to play as a young guy. Been really proud of him. I've been super proud of Bryce. He fought through a little bit of elbow stuff through the end of the spring there. I've been super proud of how he's learned and grown and his approach. Those guys are all really athletic, which really helps. It helps extend drives. And those guys are athletic, can run. They are like Byram has grown so exponentially as a thrower. I don't know. I'm really excited for that competition in fall camp. I will say this, that we just 4 months in voted for a leadership council as a team. I didn't think we were ready until this week to let the guys vote because I didn't think they knew what leadership actually was, and I still don't know that they totally do, but I thought we needed that to move forward as a program to get a group of 12 guys that can kind of now see what our expectations and our standards are and uphold those and then give me feedback, like real authentic feedback to where we are, what we need, where we got to go, and give those guys ownership. And now our job is to grow those guys as leaders. There's 3 quarterbacks on that leadership council, which is pretty unique, I think, in every way. Like 3 of probably our 4 top vote getters were 3 quarterbacks, which is pretty cool.
How would you say, as a coach, you've grown from the day you took the job to now this being the first spring game?
Yeah. I think I've just learned that my demeanor in every situation is being watched by everybody. And so how I handle, and I think you know that until you actually sit in that chair, you probably don't exactly know how it's going to happen. And obviously I've sat in a chair with one side of the ball and knew that everybody was watching. But when you're standing in front of the team every single day and you're handling situations, adverse situations, or just, man, where do you want the play clocks located in the spring game situations, just how you handle those situations it's not just getting to the right answer as much as how you get to the right answer is critically important. And just like I said with our kids, everything you do matters. How you handle situations matter. But I think what still holds true from what I thought 20 years ago when I started coaching to when I took the job here to today, if every single decision is made with the kids in mind for the best of our players, I think it's always going to be the right decision. And I keep going back to that, to where when it's about them, you're always going to be right. And there's some really hard decisions. We're going to have to make some really hard decisions here with our roster over the next 72 hours too, with where we want to go, what direction we want to go. But again, as long as those decisions are made with our kids in mind, we're always going to be right. I know it's a broad answer, but that's where I am.
Last question from me. Portal opens tomorrow. What are you more excited about? The portal opening, having some excitement for maybe bringing in some new players, or going to go see Taylor Swift tomorrow with your daughter?
Man, so that's really hard. I heard she sold out of merchandise on Thursday night, so that's going to be a bad deal. So I guess the portal in that case, if I can't get my Tay Swift T-shirt, but I got my guy Slick, probably find me one. So if I get to meet Tay Swift, I would say Tay Swift. If I don't, I would say the portal while I hang out with my daughter. It's a loaded question. Any chance, Brian, I get to meet Taylor Swift?
Slick might have to work some miracles for you. I don't think I can answer that.
Well, I am, and I'm happily married, but Taylor is got a great voice, and I hope she enjoys Tampa as well.
Get there early, I heard.
Yeah, I'm not getting there early. So, thank you guys so much. Appreciate y'all.